All right, my bread over there is just kind of sitting right now because the water with the sugar and the shortening and the salt needs to come down to lukewarm. Then I'll add my yeast and then I will add the flour. But during the meantime, I have been meaning to make this recipe with you and I wanted to share. This is going to be a toasted or roasted walnut coffee cake. And I thought this would just be perfect to share with you right now. And what I'm gonna do, the recipe calls for everything in grams. So I thought I would get out my walnuts, and I just picked these up at Aldi. And I turned my oven on over a medium heat to start, and just a pan that I will toss these in. This is a perfect cake for dessert to take somewhere. If you're having company, and it shouldn't take too long. So what they need me to do is I need to do 125 grams of walnuts. And so, I don't know if you can see this or not. Let's see. So let's turn on our scale, get it situated. I'll turn it this way so hopefully you can see it. And I need to change the unit to grams. And there we go. I'm going to put my measuring cup on here, and then I'm going to tare it. And then I am going to get 125 grams of walnuts in here. So it is going to be about a cup. Whoops. Yeah, I think we're going to call that good. It's about 123 and a half. And what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to just dump them into my skillet right there. And I'm going to let those toast up here. And while my walnuts are toasting, I'm just going to give them a stir. I am going to get my mixing bowl out, and in my mixing bowl, I believe this is 8 ounces, or how many grams? 225 grams of unsalted butter. So that is 116 grams, I believe. So let me see. It's interesting, the recipe said 225 grams unsalted butter baking spread. I'm like, okay, 8 ounces. So we're gonna put this whole stick on here, and that weighs out to 113 grams. And I'm gonna do another stick, and that weighs to 227. So a half cup of butter. We're just gonna open these up and just drop them. I've had the butter sitting on my sink softening for actually a couple days, going, I really need to make this recipe. And I decided today's the day. My sunshine went away, and it is now cloudy, cold outside. And so I thought, what a perfect day to do this. So then to that, I'm gonna come back in with my measuring cup. We're gonna tare that, and I need 225 grams of soft brown brown sugar here, which I'm sure is about 2 cups of brown sugar. That's 190 grams. I'm gonna redo that. So I'm gonna. All right, friends, so I am back, and I actually ended up remeasuring out the brown sugar, and it was about 1¼ cup of brown sugar that it called for, which was 225 grams of brown sugar. And I'm just stirring up the walnuts on the stove there, as you could see, because I'm just toasting them up or roasting them up, however you want to look at it, that just to give it a good flavor with the walnuts. And then I had some hot water in my tea kettle, and the recipe called for 2 tablespoons or 2 teaspoons of instant coffee and 2 teaspoons of hot water. And so I'm mixing that together to dissolve and let it just sit aside so I can finish up over here beating the brown sugar and the butter together. And I will get back to the coffee when I'm done and it is needed. So the coffee basically is just going to dissolve, and then you will pour that into the mixture. When I'm ready for it, I'll have it ready. So you can buy any type of instant coffee that you want. That's what I had on hand. It doesn't have to be an expensive type of coffee cake or instant coffee, just whatever you may have on hand, or just go to the grocery store and get. And so now I'm just going to come in and start beating the brown sugar and butter together. We're going to get that till it's light and fluffy. As you can see, that is what I'm trying to do here, and I finally got it done, and we're moving to the next step. You know, I enjoyed making this cake, and I think that the cake itself tastes good once it cools. I think the texture issue that I had when I was tasting it was because it still was just warm, and I just think it needed to cool down. We had some friends stop by, and they thought it was really good and thought it would go perfect with coffee, hence the name of the cake, coffee cake, right? So I gave them some to take home because it's just a test recipe. I'm trying to find some new things to bake and make to come springtime for the market. Just something different. I want to get into a little bit more, you know, like fruit cakes and these types of coffee cakes I think would be really great too. And I'm showing you the walnuts that I've toasted up, and they are just about done. So I'm just going to remove those from the heat and let those sit while I continue on with the next steps in making this toasted walnut coffee cake. If you don't have one of these gadgets, I love having this little manual chopper. It just makes it a lot easier when you have bulk things to chop, but you don't want to chop by hand, and you don't want to get out the big, huge food processor. You're allowed to just pull this, and look at that. It just a couple of pulls, and the walnuts are just chopped up nice and perfect, and you don't have to worry about it. It was a great investment. I got it off of Amazon. There's several different ones up there, but this one I got up from Amazon. Look at that. Look how nice that is. So I'm getting back to working and getting my So you can see I'm getting back to the coffee cake itself. I'm showing you that this takes soft rising flour, and I need to tare that out as well. So I put my bowl on my scale and I tared it, and now I'm measuring out. I think it was 225 grams. Again, I don't recall, but yeah, it was something along that. Or maybe it was like 125 grams. It was one of the two. So I'm just measuring that out, making it. I do like baking with grams. I do think it's easy. It does take a little extra time and some organization to it, but I do like it, and I enjoyed this process. I think what was happening with me is that I had too much going on in the morning, and when I was making this, I was getting myself a little confused on what I was supposed to do next. And so
you can see right here, I ended up dumping in all the walnuts, and I should not have done that. That should have come last. But, you know, I bake long enough that to me, it just doesn't matter. It all kind of ends up the same. So I got out some farm fresh eggs, and I am cracking 4 of those eggs. I like to crack them one at a time in a separate bowl and add them one at a time as I am beating everything together as well. I think it's much easier to do in, it helps you with the content of like the moisture and stuff. And there I just poured in the coffee, the instant coffee that you had seen me put together just a few minutes ago. And we got it all mixed together. I'm getting it in here in my pan. I'm using a fluted pan. You can use a regular cake pan.
It's time to take our wonderful coffee cake out. I may have actually cooked it a little too long, to be honest with you. It's got a little crispy around the edges. And you probably can't hear me because I walked away. Look at this. Look at that. And I wanted to bring you here for a couple of things. One, hopefully this is gonna come out without a problem. It almost feels like it burnt, if you want the truth. I can smell it. And I didn't bake it as long as they said to, so. Let's see. There we go. Beautiful. It looks fabulous. It smells good. So I'm gonna make a glaze for this. It's a really simple glaze, and it only is going to take a couple of ingredients. We're gonna take some powdered sugar, just like so, a couple of tablespoons. I don't have a recipe, guys. I just kind of go with how I'm feeling about it. And then, because I'm knocking everything over, I'm going to get my homemade vanilla, and we're gonna just a little dab will do you there. I need to make more vanilla, and just a little bit of salt, not a lot, just a pinch of salt. And then I need to grab my milk. And we're gonna stir this up until it becomes very thin, and it will run over. There we go. I may have to make more. We're just gonna make a little icing. And then I am just gonna, I don't know if you can see where I'm at. Let's see. And I'm just gonna go around the cake like this. And just, there we go. And let it just drip off the sides. And that's it. There's all there is to it. And this is a roasted walnut coffee cake. I'm now gonna take a bite into this, because you know I'm not a big fan of walnuts and stuff in my food. I probably will make some more. This is what it looks like. Let me show you. Let me see. I'm gonna get some of this extra frosting and put on here. I'm glad I ground up those walnuts. I think it may be okay. because of the walnuts, I'm not a fan of it. But you could omit those. It's pretty good. I'm not sure about the texture. I'm gonna go deal with the bread dough, and then I will see you on the next video. Thanks for hanging out in my kitchen today, everybody. Have a great day. Be blessed. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.